exclusive interview with Mr. Ntim Twumasi Kwaku, affectionately called NTK, ahead of the 2020 elections. In keeping these promises and the slow pace at which the country is progressing, September, October, November, December 2020, market women are frustrated. People are complaining. NPP has disappointed us. We trusted another so much, but then he's disappointing us. What other sweet talk do you intend using in winning the hearts of Ghanaians to vote for you for election 2020?
Well, let me correct you here. There's nothing like a sweet talk.
Okay.
Nobody sweet talked anybody. We promised Ghanaians that we will make things better. Now, in making things, there are times that you need to demolish in order to reconstruct. You get my point. That is why we are strengthening our banking sector now. People think the government is, deliberately collapsing, but no, nobody's collapsing anything. It's rather making it better. Because these were all part of the IMF conditionality that the previous government should have done. In order to strengthen your economy, you need to get stronger banks. Look at our economy. How many banks? Thousands. Do we need all these financial institutions here? Look at the UK economy. Very big economy. I can tell you the UK has 11 major banks. At most. You get my point. Strong enough to resource businessmen and entrepreneurs to invest. But these are weak banks, non-performing, with non-performing loans. You get my point. They are doing nothing, taking people's money, and they're reinvesting it in ventures that are not profiting. Government reimburses them, and the owners of these banks use the money to invest in other countries and also to, create other banks. So it tells you that why don't you bring all of them together under one umbrella? Not long ago, we created what we called Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. Now, about 7 or so banks were brought together to strengthen them because they could not meet the financial requirements of the Bank of Ghana, which is about 400 million Ghana cedis or so. Now, in less than a year, or maybe up to, let's say, in a year, they come out and declare profits. What does that tell you? It tells you that if we are to be able to create stronger banks, they will be able to generate money. So government has invested a lot. And in all these things, government has ensured that no depositor loses his or her money. Because in saving or in a situation like this, it's about the shareholders of the bank, the workers, and the depositor. But the most important is the depositor. He is innocent. Okay, so as a government, you need to ensure that depositor does not lose his or her deposits. You get my point? Well, in the process, people may lose their jobs, as in the area of the workers. Shareholders may have their investment stuck. But it's better you save the depositor first. It's better 1,000 people lose their jobs than for 1.5 million or 2 million depositors to lose their money. Okay. Do you know the kind of problem that will create? So the government has invested a whole lot into that sector. So microfinances are being merged, some are being dissolved, or some are in insolvency. Banks are being merged to ensure that they are strong enough so that you and I can go there, take money, invest, repay. Okay. There are so many banks that are not performing. They are just there. The fact that banks are running adverts that don't mean they are performing. You go into their books and you realize that they are running a whole lot of debts, bad debts. They can't collect back their loans and all that. And our addressing system is also a hindrance. That is why government is coming out with this Ghana card registration and then this public addressing system, so that when I borrow you money, I know where you are living. I know every information that I need to know about you. You get my point? So that in the event of you not paying, I can easily trace you, come back for my money. That's the problem of these banks. They give our monies to people and they don't know. Today they are in house number A, they go there, he's relocated to Elubo or whatever. You get my point? And it becomes difficult to track them to get back your money. So there's a whole lot of bad debts. So these banks are running on debts. Bank of Ghana keeps, reimbursing them. And there's no need, when you reimburse and they run debts, you reimburse, we are not doing a good business. Why don't you merge them or cut them off? You get my point? So that others can come in and then, do a better business. And then banks will be stronger and then the economy will grow. So that's what we are doing now. So Ghanaians will complain. Yes, they have the right to complain because where we were in the hands of NDC where everything was on ground zero. You get my point? Now the MPP comes in, the president tells you that do not be a spectator, be a citizen. So whatever is troubling your mind, be bold to come out with it. So Ghanaians are now bold now. They are bolder than before. They are able to come out with their grievances. The ex-government will tell you that irrespective of what you say, we are not going to listen to you. Yeah. You get my point? So what's the point if the person is not going to listen to you? So you have to you hide your frustrations. But here is somebody who is prepared to listen. So you will come out with whatever has been bothering you. So I'm happy they are coming out to tell the government what they expect of the government. It helps us to keep us on our toes, to ensure that Ghanaians are still expecting more. So we cannot relax than to deliver. So it puts the government on its toes for the government to deliver. What I'm pleading from Ghanaians is that, look, let's take our time. Sometimes in a rush to do things, you might do it wrongly. So let's be patient, because it took about 8 or so years to destroy the system by the NEGC. Kufuor built an economy, took us from HIPIC to a lower middle income economy. Now, somebody comes in within 8 years, takes us back into the hands of IMF. Down to poverty. We couldn't go back to HIPIC. Otherwise, Ghana would have been in HIPIC again. Now somebody comes in within 2 years, takes you out of IMF, starts rolling out policies that will help our future. Let us look into the future. The president has said it. He said that it is not about the next elections. If it were to be about the next elections, we will just roll up a whole lot of money into the system. We will just push things, do things haphazardly for you to enjoy it for now, so that you can vote for us. But it's not about the next elections. It's about the next generation. We need to build an economy that the next generation will be proud of. They will come in and will say that our ancestors did us good. Okay? It's not about what we are going to enjoy now. It is about what we are going to enjoy in the future. So let us invest in the future. Let us do the right things. Okay? Not, you not having people complain, we don't have money in our package. I don't know if the previous government was paying people salaries everywhere. Maybe he was. But then this government is not prepared to do that. We would rather invest the money into areas which will benefit us and our future generation. And that's what the government is doing. So Ghanaians should be patient with us. Things will be done, and it will be done properly.
So from our conversation, you're trying to tell Ghanaians that you are correcting the mistakes of the NDC.
A whole lot. Yes. As we roll out our own policies. Yes. Okay.
You're still watching Ghnewsnow. And is still in conversation with Mr. Ntim Twumasi Kwaku. Mr. Twumasi.
Yeah.
And when you posted Sankofa Lynchi.
All right.
With respect to your policies.
Yeah.
You mentioned the one village, one dam.
Yeah.
We've heard that these dams, they don't really qualify to be dams. They are wells.
Well, I don't know the kind of dams that the opposition is expecting anyway, because these comments, as you said, are coming from the opposition angle, is it not?
Not really.
Well, it's coming from the opposition. Well,
Ghanaian?
They started off by saying that these were dugouts, not dams. Thankfully, the ex-president, Mahama, came out to say that on his visit to the north, he said they were ponds. So at least they have graduated from dugout to a pond. So it's now bigger. So very soon, I think we get to the dam that we are expecting. Okay. But it's better to have a dam, whether you want to call it a dam or a pond, to have something that will provide water, constant water supply for these farmers, so that they can farm throughout the year, than for you to go and plant trees in the Hamatan and leave it out to dry. So if I was Mr. Mahama, I would rather construct these ponds before planting my trees, because I know that the Hamatan out there in the north is very severe. You get my point? So at least the people are benefiting. They say that, look, we have water to water our farm products. So you get my point, throughout the year. So they can farm throughout the year. So whether dam, pond, dugout, the most important is it is serving the purpose for which we intended it to.
And with the issue of unemployment, specifically, how many youths have been employed currently? Well,
if I'm to give you the exact figures for young people, because the youth, I don't know whether it's from the ages of 18 to 35 or 18 to 40, I cannot give you the exact ages. Okay. But then I can tell you for a fact that on a single day, 100,000 young people were employed under the NAPCO policy. You get my point? So majority of these, I'm sure, will be between the ages of 18 to, let's say, 40.
Okay.
All right. Now, I can tell you that about 49,000 teachers have been employed. We expect that they will be between the ages of, let's say, 20, 25 to, let's say, 35, 40. Or it could even be above. You get my point? Now, nurses, backlog of nurses that were created since the year 2014, 2013, 14, 15, 16. These were nurses that had graduated from various nursing training institutions and were jobless because of IMF conditionalities and other things. These nurses, over 36,000 of these nurses are now working. I mean, let's say health workers are now working. We expect that they will be between the ages of 18 to, let's say, 35 or 40. You get my point? Yes. Now we recruited 1,200 agric extension officers to beef up the agricultural sector. We expect that they should be young men and women. You get my point? Now, all these people, in fact, we are even looking after for about 60 veterinary doctors in this country. You could not get them. So I think they got around 58 or so. Because yes, people have lost interest in being veterinary doctors. So we had, in the whole country, we had about 58, about 48 when we were looking at for more. You get my point? So these are all young men and women who have been employed. As I said, the statistics shows that about 611,000 and over. But then as to whether they were between these ages, that I cannot tell. But looking at the job prescription given, you can see that these are positions that can be occupied, or that are mostly occupied by young men and women between the ages of, let's say, 18 to, let's say, 35 or 40. You get my point? So these are graduates from schools and other things. So we expect that all these guys, all these people are young people who have been employed into the system, both formally and informally. So a whole lot of things have been done. I mean, you hardly see maybe 50, 60-year-olds going for jobs. They are definitely going to be young graduates and other diploma holders and other things who will be seeking for these jobs. So we believe that they are all young men and women. Majority of these jobs created went to the younger generation, between the ages of, let's say, 18 to 40. Yeah.
And with the issue of infrastructure, you promised better roads.
Yeah.
But you've been in power for some years and some months now, but then you still have bad roads.
Yeah. Well, we did not say that every road in Ghana will be constructed within that period.
Okay.
Yes. And let's not forget that the previous government wanted Ghanaians to vote for them based on infrastructure. They used roads as one of their highlight points, that look, we have constructed roads. We have done a lot of road construction. And then we come to point and realize that nothing was done at all. Remember when the current president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, was going to Takoradi, was it the Western region? He complained that, I can't see these roads that you claim to have constructed. He was told that he was sleeping along the way. That's why he could not. Now, every single region, every single district that the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, has visited, are complaining of roads. Their major concern is roads. So if somebody asks yourself, where are these roads that were constructed? It's as if that the NPP came to power and in 2 years they were able to remove all the good roads that we constructed. It was nothing like that. These were all photoshopped, and these were information that were given out there. The roads were not existent. No, most of these roads. Remember, the Auditor General decided to slash out a whole lot of amounts from these contractors who claim to have contracted some of these roads. Some of these roads were virtually non-existent. They just create the road and then pay monies to people.
Okay.
Yes. So we have come in. There are road constructions going on. You may not have seen it in your area, but then there are road constructions. Even within my own constituency, there's a whole lot. Town roads are being constructed. You can see that the KwakuE stretch almost everywhere. We are dualizing certain areas of these roads.
I was going to talk about that. That project started not too long after you came into power.
Yeah.
But it seems it's taking all your tenure in office to finish that project.
Well, we came in and then we said that, there's this thing we call scarcity of funds.
Okay.
Yes, these roads are done with monies. And then there's also the aspect of, when you take an area like Ejisu, there's a market and other things, there's a lot of obstructions going on. And then the initial plan was just to remove the roundabouts. And then the government decided, look, just don't do just removal of roundabouts. Let's dualize all those areas to ease off the traffic in those areas. And now let's change the normal way of constructing roads where we asphalt almost every area where there's a heavy traffic. This time around, let's concrete those areas, because we realize that where there's a heavy traffic, the asphalt seems to melt. If you have almost every toll point, you get potholes and other things. So now they are using what we call pavement blocks to pave all those areas, where there's slow traffic movement and all that, so that it can withstand all these heavy vehicles and the kind of things, the weights and other things that they put on these asphalts that makes it look, bumpy. So these are things. There were terms that were changed in the initial contract, and this has prolonged the construction and other things. And then plus, we can also not run away from the aspect of money and other things. But I can tell you that the KwakuE stretch, monies have been paid. It's just that maybe contractors are doing so at a slow pace, and sometimes complaining of mechanical problems and other things. But we will get to the end of it. There are so many other roads that are going on. Take the railway sector. Honorable Dogate doing a fantastic job at the railway sector. Bringing back our railway sector to ensure that goods are able to transport goods from our villages and other things back into the cities and also into the harbors for them to be exported. Okay, there was this tantrum about cocoa roads and other things. Go and see. Do we see these cocoa roads? Absolutely nothing was done. Cocoa roads were taken to urban areas. How do you invest monies that are supposed to be invested into cocoa communities to construct their roads, and then you bring it into the urban sector? You get my point? Just because some people wanted to take their cards and other things. It doesn't work that way. So the government has renegotiated some of these contracts to ensure that they go to the appropriate areas. And very soon these things will be done. We talked about the Ghnewsnow hydro facility that the government has been able to secure, which is going to road construction. For the first time, Tamale is going to experience what we call an interchange in Tamale for the first time in their history. You get my point? Under the Ghnewsnow hydro deal. And the construction has started. So we cannot change all Ghanaian roads overnight, as I always say. But we can do them gradually. Okay, Kufuor did a fantastic job when it comes to roads. Kufuor will do extremely better. By the end, if Ghanaians are able to trust in this government and give us an 8-year mandate, as they gave to the previous government, as they gave to ex-President Kufuor, I tell you what, by the end of that 8-year mandate, this government will have performed better than any other government that's since the inception of the Fourth Republic. So it's a matter of time. Things are ongoing, and we will need Ghanaians to trust that we will deliver as we have promised. So construction is ongoing. Just that finances and other things are slowing the pace, but we will get there.
Okay, we've dealt with infrastructure.
Yeah.
Now to sanitation.
Okay.
The country is drowning in filth, which is choking some gutters,
yeah,
causing floods and loss of lives and properties.
Yeah.
What is the government doing about this?
Well, as you rightly said, sanitation is a big issue when it comes to our environment and all that. I don't know why we still live in that kind of world. Because I think we are more civilized enough to ensure that whatever we are doing, whatever filth that we are throwing about will come back to haunt us. There's a whole lot of plastic waste hanging around. Almost every corner, every gutter is choked and all that. But the government is saying that we would want to invest more into it. But then it will take a collective effort of us as citizens and the government in power. Who makes that filth? It's us. So why can't we change our attitude? It will save the country a whole lot of money. Why must we spend all that money in collecting filth? Mind you, filth is, can be used to generate power and other things. So there are countries that are looking for more waste. The likes of Sweden, Norway, and other things, sometimes they run out of waste and they go buying waste from other countries. Okay, but here we are, it is choking us. Yeah. You get my point? Now, so what we are trying to do is conscientize Ghanaians, make us aware. So I think we need to do more radio and television advertising, using the social media to educate people, to tell people there's no need you throwing plastic waste and all other waste about just like that. You go there, you sell your stuff, you leave all the waste around, thinking that somebody will come and sweep it. Why can't we do these things ourselves? So if we, as Ghanaians, change our attitude, the system will run normally. We wouldn't have to spend millions of dollars or Ghana cedis on collecting waste and dumping them elsewhere. Okay, so it is up to us. Government is doing its bit, but the bigger chunk will rest on us as citizens to ensure that we do the right thing, to know where to dump your waste. There's a refuse dump in almost every area in town. So why can't we take our rubbish or whatever that we could into those areas and dump them rather than just dropping it everywhere we find ourselves? There's a funeral. After the funeral, you see a whole lot of waste. Nobody collects it, and they fly about all over the place, and then they choke our gutters. They even spoil our fertile lands. You get my point? So these are some of the things that we as citizens need to ensure that we do not do. If we don't later, government wouldn't have to spend. Even though government is doing everything through the Zoom Lion and other companies to ensure that these wastes are taken care of. Why do we continue to litter? So we should change our attitude. It's all about attitudinal change. If we are able to change, we will save a whole lot of money. Money that can be invested in education. We are now using it to collect that filth, and that is not helping. It's a complete waste. Filth is, as I said, in some countries making them money. We are spending on filth. You get my point? So it is up to us. Let us all change. Government will do a bit through the various municipal and district assemblies, and then the KMAs, the AMAs, the TMAs, and whatever. They are doing their bit to show that there's no filter around. But then we as citizens must do the bigger chunk of it, so that we don't litter about, so that we live in a clean environment. It will also save us our money. We spend money on our health, right? If we don't create these things, we wouldn't be getting sick now and then and be spending money on medications and other things. Okay, so it is putting a burden on our NHIS policy, because we need to spend money on sick people, cholera and other things. Yes, so we have to educate her. We have to change our attitude. Whilst government is doing its bit, we also have to do our part to ensure that we live in a clean and a tidy environment at all times.
Okay, like a musician said, Ghana needs a self-survival. So in care and sanitation, we would have to change our attitude. Thank you very much, Mr. Twumasi. It's been great having you.
Thank you too.
See you again.
Right.
This has been an up-close with Mr. Ntim Twumasi Kwaku, a communicator for the MPP Regional Communication Team. And he says that Ghana is still a work in progress. They're still picking the pieces that MPP scattered all over in trying to make our mother Ghana a better place. And they're not looking at just the government, but also the next generation. So our frustrated market women out there, the unemployed, and everybody who is worried about the state of Ghana now, it's going to get better. 8 years might not even be enough, but they are still working on it. My name is Ajafra Nwaka.